Hey y'all, so I meant to film earlier today, but I never got around to it. So I ended up filming when I got off work, and I decided not to do or put visuals because I just think it's unnecessary at a certain point. Most of y'all are just listening to it anyway, and I just be moving my hands. I mean, y'all might like that, I don't know, but I just changed my mind. I decided to just put pictures on top of it, but yeah, this is the no, not self-love, but general reading on love and like creativity. So if you're somebody who's creative, relationship, it's just all encompassing general love stuff. Okay, so just pick your pile and we're gonna get right into it. Also, full readings are going to be on Patreon because I'm actually going to dive deeper into these. Some of these cards I don't use like that, so that was my time to kind of have some more fun with it. I was going to do 4 piles, then end up doing 6 because it's a Venus number, and then I got like real anal about it, so I was just like, okay, I'm just going to stick with 6. Even if it makes me a little tired, we're going to get through it because I really do enjoy doing this, and I'm very picky and specific about what I want to do and how I want to do it. So yeah, I really did enjoy this. This was really fun. And then, like I said, on Patreon, I'm going to be diving deeper into it and like going more over it. I'm making and forcing my patrons to watch the video too. And, like do updates and kind of see where they're at and, do some fun goodies on Patreon. Maybe even do like monthly love card readings for free for some of the patrons and stuff like that. Whoever wants one, just do one. If you don't want one, that's fine. I just want to open the channel more for readings and stuff like that and talking more and diving deeper, let it get into some astrology and stuff, fun stuff like that. So, yep, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to pile 1. Pile 1, there is something about you. And what I mean by that is I see Piscean energy throughout these cards, but if not, you're what I consider in some way, hopeless romantic. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You take this love shit real serious. There is nothing wrong with that. It's one of those things where with these cards, I can tell that you learned that when you give love in life, love will love you back and love will find you too. When you close yourself off to love, there's no signal that's being sent out to the energy sent out to the world for that energy to come back to you. When you actually open your heart up, here's the thing, you're going to attract whoever. Sometimes it's not even going to be the right people. But sometimes you're going to find somebody that's just going to have that signal and send it right back to you, whether that's a friend, a lover, people around you that care about you. It's one of those things. What I will tell you is be careful and be very discerning of who you let around when it comes to your energy, because some people can really take advantage of it. When your goal right now should be to focus on who you want to be in life and who could bring out the best in you. And when you can find somebody that brings out the best in you, you'll be able to understand yourself a little more. I do feel like you're a little bit malleable where people can kind of take advantage of you, and you're going to have to protect your energy. You have this martyr energy expressed like through the flowers and all that other stuff that really shows how much you're open. You're too open. And sometimes I feel like you open your heart up because you hope that somebody sees you in the way that you see yourself. And sometimes your images of people is not how they see you. And so there's these unbalanced expectations. But I want to get into the good news. I think the good news is that the person that you want to have or that energy will come, but a certain condition must be met. And it's what I already mentioned. which is you need to have discernment. Do not be silly. Do not be goofy. I'm not even expecting the person to be perfect, but you need to have discernment. You need to know if somebody's going to be willing to work on themselves or not. If they're not, don't even waste your time, because you're wasting your time with somebody when you could be finding somebody way better that's actually sending out the right signal that's who is reciprocating your energy. It's one of these cards where I do see good things. This is a really great spread, by the way. I'm not even going to hate. This is a really good spread. I do see that you are willing to let go. You're willing to, open your heart up to more and better experiences. And I feel like with that belief, you'll be able to accomplish a lot of things. But with that said, again, you're just going to attract energy that may not be for you. Do not be open to just anything. People and events must be an energy that matches the goals that you want to the T. And I'm not even saying it has to be 1,000,000% even on that mode, but it has to be great enough that you grow with that energy and that energy grows with you. So like I said, I see really good things. I see that you're going to be protected during this time, but make sure that protection involves you and not always relying on universals to kind of intervene on that. To some degree, you're going to have to take responsibility for your own protection. I know a lot of the times we take our protection seriously and we're like, oh, God got us, the universe got us, our ancestors got us, but you need to guide you too. And it's not to say that you're not going to make mistakes. But I see, and I'm telling you this because I see so much good happening for you when it comes to your creative journey, your love life, your family life, that I want to make sure that you're still going to maintain this energy throughout the year or throughout the years or whenever you see this video. I want you to be able to maintain it, because a lot of the times people do these readings and they tell people, oh, good things. But going through the mythology of these cards, looking at the floral meanings, you have to have protection. You have so much potential. You are going to be doing a lot of things. You're probably already multi-skilled, multi-talented. You know how to do all these things. You know how to work a room. You know who to talk to. You can talk to anybody. You understand a lot of people. You're very understanding. But that does not mean everybody is going to understand you the way you want to. And you may even feel lonely at some points because you feel like you're the only one that can do it, because it's very hard to find people that meet these expectations that you want. And I understand that myself. You may live at this time a very lonely life. Sometimes the people who are most loving are the most lonely, because it's very hard to find people who match that energy. So in the end, this is kind of a bittersweet spread. When you think about the hollies and the papyrus and these wreaths and, wreath energy, it correlates to Jesus and the crown of thorns. So I'm thinking about these, this sacrificial nature and you deserve love. It's these affirmations that you already know, but you know that not everybody can accommodate the love that you have. It reminds me of the video, which I'm going to link in my description, where, you could be that big gallon and then you got people who are just like little teacups that can only pour so much into you. You're always going to feel disappointed. That's why I would rather you put this energy into things that you love, hobbies, interests, meeting people, getting to know people, but also having that level of discernment and putting it more towards your creative journey and your creative ventures and things that you like, than putting it into people, because you'll get a bigger return putting it into your creative journeys than putting it into people sometimes. We're just living in this world where people are not able, they don't have enough time to commit to understanding you. And because they don't even understand themselves. We always talk about the 40-hour work week and how hard people are working, how hard people want to do this and do that and fix this and fix that. people are not making enough of it, individual time to be around other people and to get to know them and to be better versions of themselves. That is just not very common. People are still caught up in the loop of trying to catch up with this, trying to catch up with that with work. So don't always try to expect the most from people because you are that way. You just have a lot of people who are just not putting that type of effort into stuff. That's why I want you, again, to put more of this love signal that you're sending out into some goals. Maybe the people that you want will come along when you focus on yourself. When you're in the space that you want to be, then it won't hurt as much because you know that you're doing something that is best for you. And if the people can't understand that, they can't break it. So you creating your own protection has a lot to do with the protection coming from your creative goals because they keep your heart warm when people are treating you cold or being cold to you. You know how to find solace within your work. And I want you to put all your emotional stuff into that and really get to know who you are as a person through these adventures. You know, you may meet somebody amazing and you may not see them again, but they motivated you to be somebody special. And that's what matters. It's not for you to create these all the time, not to always create long-term relationships. Sometimes it's about you meeting people and knowing that there's other people out there that are like them that you will find over time when you focus on yourself, when you focus on your creative goals. So again, open your heart up, have some discernment, but also learn to pour it back more into yourself and your goals rather than other people. Because I can see this turning into something where you spent too much time on somebody else that you didn't spend it on yourself, and there may have been a good opportunity for you to grow in a career and you spent that too much time sacrificing it for somebody who wouldn't have done the same for you and is not willing to make you as happy as that goal would have. You just have a lot of people that are just not working on themselves like that, and I would hate for you to risk your own happiness because you wanted to make somebody else happy who could never be happy and are just not that aware about love and loving themselves and loving somebody else and loving what they do. Don't let other people ruin your shit. Stay focused. Something good is happening. Something good will come when you stay focused on what is important and what and who loves you back. And especially the what loves you back. Because sometimes it's more so a creative journey than it is a person journey. Pile 2, you're very observant. You're that type of person, you don't necessarily pursue people. You're one of those people, you have a liking to somebody or you'll have a liking to something creative, but you won't actively go towards it. And I feel like there have been opportunities where you could have went after it, but somebody went after it before you because sometimes it takes you a while to get the courage to approach somebody and then boom, they're taken already, or boom, the opportunity passed, somebody else has it. I feel like you don't really trust yourself as much. I feel like slowly you're releasing the mental burden of having so much activity go on in your head that you're learning to kind of move forward. But I still think that when it comes time for you to pursue somebody or make a move or, say something to somebody or start something creatively, it seems like it's never the right time, or it's, you don't get as inspired when it's time to actually do it. And I don't think that you create a space for things to grow. I feel like sometimes you come on too strong or you come in with a lot of energy and then it kind of falls flat. You don't give things time to breathe and grow slowly. It's learning to gradually work up to a project. It's learning to start with casual talk with somebody before you go further. I do think you'll know once you kind of like observe a situation, you'll know when to make a move with time and with practice. I just think right now sometimes you just hesitate because you never really know to find the perfect time to make the right move. But I do think that there's people around you or things you can learn from or people you can learn from that'll kind of help you and kind of guide you along a path. It's okay to seek knowledge from people or ask them from help and ask them what they know. But just know that when it comes down to it, you have to learn how to alchemize it for yourself and get to know who you are. I feel like you're still in the stage where you're kind of learning from observation and learning from other people's mistakes. You may have seen your family members go through it. You may have seen your friends go through it. So you're learning from them, but it's a different ball of wax when you have to be the one to experience it and you have to have the fortitude necessary to avoid the mistakes that they made. Again, learning is one thing, experiencing it is another. It's easy to tell the person that you care about, you should cut him off. You should do this, you should do that. And then until you're in this situation with somebody that you like and people are telling you to cut him off or don't deal with him or don't deal with them or whoever, you know? Even with creative journeys, it's learning that observation doesn't necessarily mean experience, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're inherently learning something for yourself in your specific situation. So I think the best thing for you to do is just try things at a smaller scale and work things up so you can understand what you're observing instead of always being bear witness to something. I feel like you haven't created these loving connections with your creative journey or the people you care about for things to work out the way you want because there is no chemistry. You haven't figured out where your energetic chemistry works with other people. You're kind of an enigma where you're just kind of there and maybe you stick out like a sore thumb in a quote unquote bad way because you always feel out of place. You feel out of place. You don't really know where you fall. And it's not to say that you shouldn't be unique and you have to be like everybody else, but you don't know how your signature can complement everybody else. You don't have to be like them. How do you as a figure stand out, but also collaborate with the people around you? That's something that you're going to have to learn. Like, even with lilacs, the symbolism with Lilith is one of those things where you're kind of the opposite to pile one, where I feel like you close your heart. It's not that it's not there. It's that you kind of put a lot of guards around your heart to the point where you understand that things can go wrong and you're not willing to take that risk. But when it's time to actually pursue something you want, because you're not willing to open up to some capacity, things just don't connect as they should because you're not putting the genuine energy into it. And you're going to have to learn to temper the boundary just a little bit. You can't be scared to piss people off. I feel like in some ways you're scared to piss people off because maybe you get these type of Lilith reactions where people just, make up and write you off in their head as like, you're horrible. And it'll be over the most extra thing ever. Like, you just say no to something, not that's important. It's not going to cost anybody anything. And they just think you're the worst person in the world. You may have these situations where you're just going to piss people off. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not. You're going to have to be okay with being disliked because you being an observer is having people just snatch things right out of your hands. And that's not fair to you. And this is me kind of just following along even with the Greek mythology of the Grand Jeu Lenormand card. It's just one of those things where you have to be willing to make a choice. And sometimes things are going to go good. Sometimes it won't. Again, you're going to have to discern how things are going to go. Or it's one of those things where maybe the energy just doesn't best match what you want to do. Or there's something that you just have to work on yourself to work up to. It just really is situational. But I do think that some of this stuff requires you to work on your energy first before you can discern if the energy is ready for you yet. If that makes sense. So it's not necessarily about knowing if something's good for you or not. It's knowing, are you ready for it? And then you'll be able to handle if it's good for you or not later. I just don't think you're at that place to create the synergy to even know what you want yet, because you haven't been in the door of the opportunity yet for that to happen. So I would definitely, take some time to kind of get to know yourself more, and figure out what you want to put out about yourself. Like, what do you want to show off to people that makes you, quote unquote, an asset? What do you want to pour into your skill building that will kind of sharpen your skills so you can get more opportunities? But you can't be out here scared. That's not going to help you at all. And I just also think that you need to stop overthinking things or trying to do too much. Sometimes a little bit goes a long way in the beginning, then you could do the most later. So I think you letting go of some of these mental things and kind of learning how to just do it without thinking you have to do every little detail on your mind will help you in the long run. But nope, that's it for you, Pile 2. You're going to have to shake the room a little bit, because it's one of those things where you are not getting to the small victories yet because you don't want to have them conversations that you need to have to get you to where you need to be. With that said, you're going to have to loosen up a little bit. You can't be scared to create. Now, you don't have what the problem Pile 2 having. It's not that you're shy. I just feel like you're holding back a lot. And holding back your potential in a way because you're scared to create. It's kind of like you're scared to take a chance. You're not like Pile 2 where it's like, you're shy, you're not sure if you want to do this. It's one of those things where you're not scared to take a risk for a reward later. And you're just going to have to gamble. I did see like desert theme when I was doing your reading, and like the Lenten rose came up in one of the Granju Linnerman cards in the florals. And Lent is fasting, like you're going through a period where you're depriving yourself, and in order to get to this goal. I think right now you have to deny yourself of temporary pleasures to get the long-term love that you want, or the long-term goals and creations that you care about and want to create. And I think it's kind of hard for you to like channel yourself, especially when it comes to your sexual energy. You may be somebody who's like you're an over pleasurer type of person. Like, you indulge a lot, and whatever your vice may be, whatever your pleasure may be, you're somebody who is heavily indulgent. So trying to like kind of quote unquote go cold turkey and putting that towards a creative goal may be hard for you, because it seems like you lose control very, very easily. You're going to have to kind of set a boundary and kind of be honest with yourself about the situation and be like, okay, is this healthy for me? Will this benefit me in the long run? Or is it feeding something temporarily until I'm going to want more and more and more and more and more? You're never going to be satisfied. You're going to have to be okay with not necessarily having control over a situation, or kind of, be a little bit in, you know what I'm saying? In the trenches a little bit to get to where you want to be. I'm not saying completely lose control or like fully deprive yourself, but you're going to have a little more discipline than what you do now, because I'm sensing that your energy is very loose, and not in a bad way. You just attach way too much to things. You're somebody probably that like can't get off of social media. You close the app, you reopen the app. Like, you just have no sense of self-control when it comes to anything. That is a big issue. You need to focus your energies back into stuff that is necessary, things that you want to do, things that you actually care about. Your energetic body is everywhere. You're a consumer. You at that TikTok shop, you buying stuff. You always want to be in the know. You have FOMO. You have all this stuff going on, and it's kind of like focus. I feel like people who overconsume are scared to take control, and they allow everybody else to take the control for them because they don't want to seem quote unquote weak, or they don't want to seem like, they're without. It's like weakness to you is not having. So if you can have something to temporarily replace, you'll be fine, but you'll never get to your goal that way because you don't get pissed off enough and dissatisfied enough to want better, because you're always trying to replace it with something, even if it's some bullshit. You need to refocus on your goals and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. And you need to be honest with yourself about, your relationships, your attachments to things and items. They're not fulfilling you necessarily. You just want more because you feel like you can't provide that with your own talents. Maybe you're in a relationship because you feel like you can't be alone because you're not enough without somebody. Or maybe you have those ideas about relationships and that's why you want one. You need to focus. Your sacral center is probably overactive too. You probably fucking sucking. I don't care what you do. It's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like it's getting to a point where it's like, damn, this is not fulfilling you no more. And you starting to have those cracks and realizations like, damn, that's it. This is kind of getting boring. You're getting bored fast. You know why? You want to know why you're getting bored fast? Because you're on that damn phone frying your attention span. You're going to have to slowly wean yourself off these addictions that you got yourself on. You're going to have to take that time. You're going to have to figure out something else. You're going to have to slowly regulate your system. If you got to go see the lady and get on the meds, maybe you got to do it. You got to do what you got to do. But it gets to a point where you have to be irritated. You got to be so irritated with the life that you're living that you're just like, I can't do this shit anymore. Maybe you'll get there. But filling yourself up with all this stuff, don't be that person in their, 40s and 50s going through a midlife crisis because you're like, I missed out so much out on like the real meaning of life because your maturity came in, but the things you did leading up to that did not mature. You're just so accustomed to the immature, temporary bullshit. Maturity is age, it's experience, it's fine wine, it's long term, it's an ever steady path of growth. It is a flow. It is steady. It is consistent. Even when it's not consistent, it wants to keep going because there's growth there than staying in a cycle of like just this hamster wheel of consumerism that just uses you up until you have nothing and they have everything. And you probably do that in life. You're just like around people all the time. You're always with your friends. Be by your damn self sometimes. You like personify yourself in everybody and every little thing. Like your personality ain't even yours no more. It's like a derivative of like everybody else. You don't have your own personality. Your personality is a derivative like of somebody you follow or your friends. Who are you in the grand scheme of things? And it's not like Power 2 where, they know who they are, but they just kind of like go about it in an odd way to compliment. You're somebody who is like, I wouldn't say you don't have your own personality. I'm not even, I'm just going to say it. It gives chameleon. It gives like you're not yourself. Like you act how everybody else wants you to act. So you don't like shake the room or shake the table or, you know what I'm saying? Like you're conflict avoidant in a way where you would be fake in order to get where you want to be. You're going to look dumb. And then when everybody else get cut, you're going to get cut too. You know why? Because you don't have your own backbone. Like, no shade. I don't even know who you are. I'm just saying you kind of irritate me. You kind of one of those people, quote unquote, I don't like. And not even in a thing like I don't like you or anything. But I just want better for you. It's just not given. And I need you to kind of refocus. And you may even not even be that person that I'm describing to an extent. But I feel like in some ways you are a follower and you're not a leader. And you need to become a leader now. And really use those experiences towards FOMO. Which is you should be fearing missing out on your own damn life. Stop. Why do you give a fuck what somebody else is doing? The fuck that got to do with you? They don't give a fuck. These people that you want to cater to don't give a fuck about you. You could die and then they're going to be like, damn. And then they're going to live their lives. And guess what? You the one that lived for them. Did they live for you? Okay. So, yeah, we're going to move on. It's been a while since a reading irritated me. No shade to you. You probably dope. You probably cool. I just need you to wake up. It's time to wake it up. We want to see what you doing. Like, you got some good shit going on in your life that you could be cooking up, but you too busy focused on what everybody else doing, and it's aggravating me because you are an individual that came into this world as yourself. You created all these unique DNA cells in your body with the help of your parents, and you became your own person. So become your own person in your own life. We don't need any more of these NPCs walking around here. We need to see who you are. But yeah, can't wait to see what you do this year. I'm rooting for you. Even though I don't like your reading, still rooting for you. Never a hater. Always love to see the talent tree happen. So can't wait to see what you got going on. Keep figuring out who you are. Avoid the FOMO. Get off that damn phone. And give us something cool on that damn phone. Use your phone for that. Period. Pile 4. I'm going to just say, I feel like you are too obsessed with growing to chase after somebody, but not growing for yourself. And like, some of y'all are like, I'm going to prove my haters wrong. I'm going to do what they tell me to do. In some ways, you're like, I'm going to prove everybody wrong, but it seems like you're doing things to appease them. But the thing is, like, why do you care so much? I feel like, oh, I'm trying to shit on my ex, or I'm trying to shit on my old friends. Why do you care so much about what they do? Are you going to use these newfound opportunities to prove them wrong? You're going to be creating an identity that can basically crumble you when everything you worked hard for and those people are still not satisfied with the person that you're becoming. And it's one of those things where even if you're trying to appease somebody that you look up to because they don't see you, and I think I've done a reading like this before, like where somebody doesn't see you the way you want them to see you, you can't prove yourself to them. You have to carve out your own lane and just shit on them because you shitting on them. And even if you don't impress them, who gives a fuck? It's about stuff you want to do. And I think the audacity to do what you want to do will help you a lot more than trying to appease people who didn't care about you before and may not care about you now. You're kind of gambling here. And you get no benefit of proving them wrong, because if they really fuck with you, they would have, you know what I'm saying, supported you from jump. Don't worry about it. If they do or don't support, who cares? You really shouldn't be giving them the energy regardless. Let them stay where they at. You're going to have to release some of your past. You're going to have to stop making decisions based on what your ex or what your past friends or past situations have done to create this person in you. Of course, it should teach you to create more boundaries and more discernment, but it shouldn't change you to the point where you're unhappy and you're kind of moving in ways that aren't necessarily you. Again, it's okay to have boundaries, but once you start moving in ways that aren't you, and it's really, at that point, it's unnecessary because it's not helping your growth, then it's kind of like you're doing things for other people and not yourself. So you need to focus. I also think you care too much about what other people think. Like, there's a lot of Capricorn energy in these cards as is. You know, the 3 of Pentacles is Capricorn Mars, and then we got the Capricorn card. Like I said, it's one of those things where I say that capricious energy, even if you don't have Capricorn energy, capricious energy is a boss, but also y'all have this problem on a Cancerian opposite thing. And again, even if you're not a Capricorn placement, I don't care. It applies to you. You have it in your house. Shut up. Listen to what I'm saying. You have this thing where capricious energy is very managerial energy. It's one of those things where, like, I do see y'all as bosses, or I do see the energy as, like, boss. But also, it's, like, not even a boss because they are the head. It's kind of like they're taking orders in some way. And I think it has a lot to do with the exaltation of Mars and how I say like Mars is more so the worker, and solar energy is that like perfection. And I feel like Saturn and solar energy gets commonly misplaced a lot, where I do agree that solar energy is the more consistent drive of things. Mars is the worker spirit because it is the sixth house. It works. It takes orders. It does lead, but not in the way that solar energy does. Martian energy basically makes a move and takes initiative, whereas like I remember tweeting before, like solar energy is like that CEO, that boss energy, but capricious energy is very managerial because it's the cardinal energy, and Saturn likes to fix problems. And like you see managers as leads, but they're taking orders from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And it falls into this tweet that I did see where I'm going to link it in my description below, where it says Mars takes orders from the sun. And I highly agree with that. And it falls into something I've been talking about for quite a bit, but it kind of encapsulated it better, where like solar energy is really the boss. And I wouldn't necessarily say it gives Mars quote unquote orders, because Mars still has to strategize in some way, but to paint the picture, it does that. Also, like I said, back to the capricious energy, I've been talking about it for, I think like last year, how Capricorn is just like, I just don't see it as this type of, boss that everybody else sees. I do think they're really good at taking orders, following directions, and doing what they're told and making sure that they problem solve. Whereas a CEO is kind of like, here's the problem, you fix it. And that's what managers do. They manage problems that may come up. That's what Capricorns give me. They give me bossy in a managerial way, not a CEO way. And so I say all that to say, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, you're trying to think that you're the problem and that you need to be fixed. But I feel like your problem solving is based on taking in criticism from other people and thinking like that's like a point that you need to work on yourself, or like to improve for other people so people can kind of respect you more. I feel like you demand respect and you want to be respected for your stuff. But the thing is, not even that respect has to be earned. That's not the message I want to give out. That is true, but it's not the message I want to give out. To gain respect, you're going to have respect for the things that you want. And if people cannot respect the boundaries to put around things that you want, they don't need to be around you, period. The haters don't deserve to be around you just because they appreciate you now. They should have appreciated you before. And if they cared much, should have helped you grow. The people that are really going to be around you are the people who are going to hold you accountable, but they're going to love you. Kind of reminds me of a reading I gave to a client recently. But it's like, you have to, and they had fucking Capricorn placements, sidereal Capricorn placements. So this is going somewhere. Again, if you're not a Capricorn, I don't care. It applies to you. You're going to listen to me because it's going to come around. And these trends may hit you and you're going to be like, oh my gosh. So like I said, you need to take this newfound energy that you have. You need to do something with it. Manage your life in a way where are you criticizing yourself? Where do you see the issue? You fix it based on what the issues you have with yourself, not everybody else's issues they have with you. And that may take some time for you to figure out, because you probably already internalized how people feel about you to the point where you're not yourself anymore. So you're going to have to kind of learn how to be yourself and kind of be free, be a little more loose with your boundaries when it comes to you having fun on a personal note. Not really like being loose in your boundaries around other people. I just feel like that's what's creating the issue in the first place. Learn to be about yourself and have fun alone and kind of get to know yourself. Kind of purge everybody else's energy from you. You don't need approval. You need to rely on yourself now. Once you start relying on yourself, you'll be able to know the type of wisdom you want to craft based on who you are as a person. And you'll be able to create a lot of success, again, based on what you want out of life and not what everybody else wants for you. You're going to have to learn your own lessons on your own pace based on the path you want to take. And then you could take more advice from people because you'll have an idea of what you want and where to best apply it based on the advice you're given and the wisdom you gain for yourself. So I say all that to say, be calm. Learn a skill. It's time to build those skills up and not build those skills up for the haters because they're going to find some other shit. And you're always going to be living in this rabbit hole of people not liking you, you caring a lot, you getting successful, and you never grew yourself out of the people don't like me mentality. Then you start crumbling under the pressure because you're going to get irritated of always somebody has something to say, and you're going to be like, what's the use of me doing anything? And then you give up. That's not where we want you. We need you to focus. We need you to manage yourself. And don't let people, don't think of it as like you need somebody to boss you around. You have to learn to basically take the managerial energy and learn how to manage yourself based on the conditions that you're getting from other people and putting expectations on you. How do you want to manage it? You do have some control over this in some way. You know, we get told what to do every day. But when it comes down to you personally, I think you internalize it as if you have to live how they're telling you to live. You don't. You still have to make your own decisions and you choose how you want to do things. You make those choices and it's learning how to choose. Everybody gets bossed around, but you have to pick how you want to choose to live your life without giving a fuck what they think or what they say. Eventually you're going to get there. It's going to bother you sometimes. I don't think people don't not get bothered by things people say, but it comes to a point where, you know, your own self-sanity and what you want to do outweighs whatever anybody else saying, so you can move on better and focus on what you want and not focus on what you used to have with the ex or what you used to have with somebody. Who gives a fuck? It's over now. Time to move on and take those lessons, personify them for yourself, and find some new energy to get into. Not dwindling on the past. You got this Saturnian, I'm in the past, I missed the past. What are you going to make from the past to create a better future? Let's talk about it. Let's get into that. You want to tell me? Let me know. Shit. Nah, pile 5, this is so funny. Okay, you just going to have fun with dating or crafting creativity. You're just going to have to learn to experiment a little bit. I feel like you'd be surprised with like the interest you find or the interest in person you find. Your taste may be changing, and I feel like you probably haven't found love yet because the person that you do want is not your type anymore. I mean, they just don't do it for you no more. I'm not saying you need to date nobody ugly. They may be fine, but they just might have different traits that you look forward into a person. And also, some of y'all, I feel like if you a guy, and I'm not even being shady, if you a guy, I don't know, you might be gay this year. You might just go ahead be gay or come out that closet, whatever the case may be. Some of y'all guys that's watching this or whatever, if you in a closet, you may be coming out that closet. You might find a man that just be. But that's just another note. I just feel like some of y'all might be gay. You might or might not. You might be gay though. Just letting you know, I just feel like this is your gay era or something like that. Like Ray J said, shout out to all my gay niggas. So, back to like the general topic at hand. I just feel like your tastes are changing. Your taste in person, whoever you're with, is changing. And you are not realizing that right now. You're not. And it's okay to not realize that right now. You know, I just feel like your spirit already knows what they want and you just don't know yet. And it's just going to take to find that person and not shut down based on your expectations. And because here's the thing, you keep trying to date the same guy, the same nigga, and then you trying to get different results. Like, okay, you're going to get the same shit. You keep dating the same personality. And it's not even to say the same personality can't be improved, but I feel like maybe they do have similar traits that you like, but maybe it's just something else that's different that sets them apart, that makes them a more cohesive type of personality. So it don't even have to be that your type has a different personality, but they have a more refined version of who they are that you'll better appreciate. But you just have to be open and kind of discern, is it something deeper, or is this the same nigga you keep fucking dating? Like, what's going on? What we doing? Let me know. Shit. So, like I said, I would focus and kind of like, don't get impatient. I feel like you're in like a dating trench right now. It just seems like the people you with, or the creations you got, or like the opportunities you've been trying to do have just been real trash right now. I do think things will come together, but just in ways you didn't expect. Maybe you'll fall in love with the friend. Maybe the person that you didn't see like that, they said something, you was like, wait a minute, I'm starting to feel some type of way. Things happen like that. Connections get built off of like the strangest of components. I've had that happen to me where I'm like, we just gonna be friends, we just gonna be cool. Wait, I'm feeling some type of way. And let things flow. Have fun. I mean, I don't believe in like quote unquote ruining friendships. So fucking what? Here's my thing. This is just me personally. If I want you, I'ma have you. We ain't gonna say friends for one. I want you. What are we doing? And then if I don't want you no more, I never felt like, oh, I lost a friend. Fuck you, bitch. I'm leaving. And I'll find a friend that can actually be my friend. And like, even with friendship breakups, like, oh yeah, that's your best friend, but then they do something to piss you off. So the fuck what? Like, friendship's supposed to be lasting longer than relationships? That is a myth. You have fun. Fuck the friendship. Fuck it up. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And I'm not even saying like it has to be mutual. But I don't always think that you having a friend with somebody and you keeping them as a friend even though you want to fuck and you want to be with them or whatever, I think that's stupid. Go ahead and just let it go and let it do what it do. I just don't think every friendship needs to have, or every energy or relationship has to have this border of friendship in order to preserve the love y'all have for each other. If the love borders on the romance, explore it. Like, why not? All y'all gonna do is create complications when you try to have relationships with other people and you like, damn, what if we worked out? Like, don't start that dumb shit, because now you like looping other people in some shit that they had no idea they was about to be a part of, because you like, oh, that's just my friend. No, the fuck that's not. Y'all got some like weird ass tension going on. Y'all need to go ahead and figure it what the fuck that is out before you go ahead and start dating other people. Y'all are the other people that y'all need to be dating. Maybe so. Who fucking knows? And then as far as the people on the creative scale, I just feel like you may not know what you're doing, but you're going to look back and be like, damn, I never would have thought I'd be into that. But I am. Like, I find real good interest in it. I find a nice hobby in it, etc., etc. So that's not a bad thing at all. Maybe for some of y'all need to explore those odd hobbies, quote unquote odd hobbies. Like, do something fun, do something different. Why you like, this was different. Like, I don't know, people gonna judge me. Who gives a fuck? If it's not harming nobody, like, have fun. Like, if you like bingo and shit, go do some fucking bingo. Have a hobby around bingo. Whatever makes you happy. You're here to live your life and do the side quests. Do the side quests. Who cares if that don't fit your aesthetic or your personality? Who gives a fuck? Making it aesthetic. Duh, the fuck. Maybe you're meant to do that so you can make something unique. Like, put motherfuckers on. Like, what's out there in the world? We can't be exploring everything. We trying to see what you doing, girl. Guy, lady, whoever you want to call yourself. The fuck? We trying to see what's going on in your world. You know how many people we see on TikTok doing, like, stuff that we don't? Like, who would have thought I gave a fuck about, like, seeing horses get their hooves clean? Like, I'm really fascinated. I don't want to do it, but I'm trying to see what's going on over there. I'm trying to see what you up to, too. You know what I'm saying? Do you like eating gas station food? Go ahead, show us what the gas station happenings are. Put us on to something. I want to learn. I love to learn. I like to be nosy. Make something of it. Who cares what it is? If you're trying to tell us something new about something or something that people don't talk about that's real niche, tell us about it. We want to know. We really want to know. Become the morning in glory. Like, show us something new. Open our eyes to something. You know, it's connect with something. I don't just be in love. Just love, okay? Find your comforts in your happy zone, okay? Even if it takes a minute. You know what I'm saying? Just try stuff. Try something once. Why not? Maybe it's a little stupid. Don't let it be too stupid and dangerous. Have some discernment, but so what? Enter things with caution, mindfulness, awareness, knowingness, all the things. And see where it goes. So yeah, that's all I want to say to you, Pile 5. Okay, Pile 6. I think you're still learning what your taste and your likes are. I think you're learning to craft out a path for yourself that is allowing you to find more love and more spaces. I also think some of y'all may have gotten out of a toxic situation or a situation that wasn't beneficial. So you have to kind of relearn relationships again, or things have moved up in a way where you have to reestablish what these new relationships are based on your own growth. I wouldn't worry too much about a timeline. You need to do this. It's just filling things out. I just feel like when it comes down to somebody asking you what you want, you're still unsure about that. And I do feel like you don't really know how to personify the energy yet. And maybe there were situations where you didn't have your own boundaries because you didn't really know how to figure out what this meant to you and what certain things, situations, people, and things that you care about and things you want to create have to do with you as a person. So it was hard to find your place in things. I do think that surrounding yourself in energy that you're comfortable with and slowly getting to know a process will kind of build the relationship up, or you'll realize like this is a good vibe, but it's not necessarily for you. I think through it all, you will slowly but gradually start to see results for things, but you just have to be persistent and be able to handle and still take control. So when things start to get out of control, you know how to pivot, you know how to move, you know how to defend yourself, or you know how to go on the offense. I think that's going to be important. I think you're still finding your way around things and through life so you can find places that best support you and best nurture you. And I think that the more love you create, the more specific you could be within it. And then you start to figure out, oh, this is why this makes me happy. This is why I like this. This is why I enjoy this. I still think you're still figuring out your taste and making your mind up and finding your place within those likes and being able to identify with them. For right now, things just feel good. You're not really sure why. You're just enjoying the moment. Take note of it over time. Then you'll start to figure out where things go wrong, or where things might go wrong, or when things start to deteriorate. You'll either know when to pivot, when to heal something, or when to maybe check yourself when you're moving out of spaces that aren't found in love, or when you're not moving in a place of love. Having that awareness early in the exploration phase can help you know how to preserve something, leave something alone, or remove yourself from it. Like some things really do require sometimes you're the problem and you have to remove yourself. Maybe come back to it, or maybe leave it alone before you start to create a situation where you start to impede on somebody else's progress that's just trying to figure things out. You got to know when you're the problem too. But overall, I don't see anything inherently bad. I just see that you're just in this phase and it's more of an internal thing than something external happening to you. I just think that you have this internal struggle that is, you just aren't really sure what to, I feel like certain things are getting so routine and so basic that you're starting not to necessarily get bored. It's kind of like you're not really sure what to make out of life. It's just like, it's just nothing's really exciting you. And I think love still has to have a certain sort of excitement before you start getting bored and you're like, I love this person, or I care about this creation I'm doing, but I'm not in love with it. I don't have the passion for it. And I feel like there needs to be more passion within what you're doing, and you have to refine it now. You have to connect with your intuition, your emotions, and put some emotion into it. That's when things get spicy. You're putting too much routine into this love for stuff, and I don't think it's sustaining you, nor is it helping you. And with great high level of love and energy you have for something, for it to be at a nice standstill to where it's balanced is a nice thing. But when I say passionate, I don't mean start a problem. It's being adventurous. It's like elevating the experience sometimes, just to, make things a little more luxurious. Maybe you don't take care of yourself enough. Maybe you don't buy a little stupid thing and just kind of enjoy it just to enjoy it. It's learning to find meaning in the more mundane or in things that cost and you're paying for experiences. It's knowing what category falls into what to make you happy. And I mean what category falls into what based on what you need out of life. Some people need more mundane things. Some people need more luxury. Some people need more rest. What is it that your body needs that's going to add some spice into your life, or make things more subtle, or make things more relaxing? Whatever it is you need, there's something within your routine that needs a counter to balance things out. So you're not like, oh, I'm tired of trying to elevate experiences when I need to relax, or I'm tired of relaxing when I need to spice things up. I'm getting bored. So that's going to be your discretion. And it's slowly kind of getting to know when you're getting bored or when you're moving too fast. It's knowing how to find equilibrium again. And I just feel like you're trying to find this routine where you're maintaining your emotional energy without getting bored, or without trying to run yourself dry because you're trying to be too damn extra. It just depends on the situation. You might go through two extremes, and it's knowing when to do the most and when to settle down so you don't burn yourself out or get bored. There's a lot of solar energy happening here, with the Grand June Lenormand being the Leo card and the Witch Hazel card having solar deities. It's one of those things where, again, sun, I already explained this, I think, Power 4, yeah. The sun is a consistent routine, and the routine is, sometimes it gets a little boring. The sun is very consistent, doesn't retrograde, it just moves forward. And sometimes that gets a little boring. And sometimes it's about livening it up, or building on a foundation of something you're already consistently doing, and still learning how to put that fire in it and spicing it up. That's why the sun exalts in Aries, because it loves the vitality to just do and go here and do that and just do things. Have fun. Because knowing yourself is knowing you can discern what is best for you and what isn't best for you, when you need to tone it down, when you need to scale it up, all that stuff. So again, it's always just you getting to know yourself through these beautiful experiences that you have. And I say keep at it. So I'm not going to keep droning on about it. I think you got it. But yeah, thank you, Pile 6.